Good morning. My name is Meg Herman, and I serve on your board of trustees. I'm glad to welcome you here this morning. Thank you for showing up at 9 o'clock. It's not something I usually do, so I'm always pleased to see so many people here at this hour. If you are here for the first time, thank you for coming and joining us. We look forward to meeting you, and we hope that you will notice that there are cards in the pews that you can sign up to let us know what more interests you have. Everyone present in the sanctuary, of course, today is welcome to join our in-person community hour immediately following the service. As Unitarian Universalists, we hold up pluralism as one of our core values. We celebrate that we are all sacred beings, diverse in culture, experience, and theology. We covenant to learn from one another in our free and responsible search for truth and meaning. We embrace differences and commonalities with love, curiosity, and respect. Please come to the Unity House today during community coffee hour to add, well, it's not only coffee, okay, it's community hour. Anyway, to add your hands to our giant Resist banner, as well as sign up for the No Kings activities coming up next weekend. This Friday night, March 27th at 7 p.m. here in the sanctuary, the spiritual care team will be hosting a service called When the World Breaks Our Heart, Lighting the Way Together. All are welcome at this service of music, readings, and candlelight ritual. We're so glad you're here this morning, even if it's 9 o'clock. And I invite those of you here in person today to take a moment to greet each other.
I'm Reverend Emily Gage. My pronouns are she and her. You'll note that we have something special here on the ground floor. This is Harpe Diem, a local harp group, and we are gifted their music this morning. You're in for a treat. Our chalice lighter today is Charlie. Charlie's family just welcomed 2 new cats to his. Please join with me in the words of our chalice lighting. We are Universalists. This is the church of the God in Christ, loving hearts and helping hands. We take care of planet Earth and each other.
treat. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Cecile, and I am your worship associate today. It's infuriating that from a young age, we are inundated with negative messages about our bodies. Some of my talk today might be triggering, and I thank you for listening. Growing up, my older family members would often comment on weight. My siblings and cousins and I were all subjected to this. I'm sure that heavily contributed to my body image. Positive messages are out there and probably always have been, and filtering out the negative and accepting my body as it is has been a long process. When our girls were young, my husband and I tried our best to shield them from destructive messages about body image. We never had a bathroom scale or full-length mirror, and they could eat whatever they wanted. Yet the messages were insidious, and one of our daughters developed an eating disorder at 15. It was a dark time for our family, one I was not emotionally prepared for. Of course, there were other factors involved, but in my mind, I was to blame. What messages did I convey to her, conscious or not? How could I convince her to love her own body while I secretly, or maybe not so secretly, disliked my own? My internal message was that I was a bad mother, something I had to confront in order to care for my daughter. We were lucky. Denver's Children's Hospital, a few miles from our home, had a world-renowned eating disorder program. They provided exceptional treatment for our daughter and for our family. Helping her get better required us all to change our thinking and behavior. Bulimia is a curable disease, and she beat it. She has healed, and our family continues to heal. In the years since, I have made a conscious effort to accept and to listen to my own body. With therapy, medication, serenity, meditation, and focusing on loving messages, I'm helping me in my healing journey. I'm grateful. Whoever you are, wherever you are in the world, you are welcome here. Come, let us worship together. Please rise in body and spirit and join me in singing Guide My Feet, number 348 in the Gray Hymn.
Thank
standing. Please remain standing as we say our covenant together. Love is the outcome of this birthright. The quest for truth is a sacrament, and service is his prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve humanity to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the divine. Thus do we covenant with each other and with God.
Good morning. My name is Diana Coates, and I'm a member of your spiritual care team, and my pronouns are she, her. Love is the doctrine of this congregation, and sharing our joys and our sorrows every week is one of the ways that we embody love in this congregation. Those attending in person may share your joys or concerns, sorrows in the binder just outside the doors to the sanctuary. You can also email your joys and sorrows to us at spiritualcare@unitytemple.org. If you're carrying something and would like something heavy in your heart and you would like a listening ear, please keep in mind that the spiritual care team is available. We can meet with you in person or on the phone. Mostly, we want you to know that you do not need to carry this alone. Here are the joys and sorrows that were shared this week. Well, I'm going to repeat. We're hosting, the spiritual care team is hosting When the World Breaks Our Hearts, Lighting the Way Together, and that's this Friday night. And I think in this time, we're all struggling with so much happening around us. And it's a time to gather, to lament, if you will, and to gather hope. Before we do that, when we gather together. That's here this Friday night, Unity Temple, coming your way. These are the shares for this week. Erie Lennon Perlow is celebrating his 40th birthday today, and he will be here at second service. So we want to wish him a happy birthday if he's listening. From Betsy Davis, she wants us to remember Reverend Don Wheat. We celebrate the life and mourn the loss of Reverend Don Wheat, former minister of Third Unitarian Church in Chicago, who died March 5th at the age of 92. As he said often, he wanted us to remember his favorite quote, his favorite prayer for everything. Here's to the wonder of, the glory of, the miracle, and the joy of life. We know that some of us hold joys and sorrows in silence, and we invite anybody who has a joy or a sorrow to drop a stone in the bowls of water which are located around the church. The water represents the love that is large enough to hold all our joys and sorrows. So let us begin.
Our words of prayer this morning are from the Reverend Laura Horton Ludwig. Take a moment to breathe into the silence. Our breath is always with us. We can always come back to the breath, our anchor, our grounding, our freedom. Spirit of life and love, we are here, not just minds and hearts, but bodies too. We, human beings, spirit and body, joined together. On this day, we send out a prayer or a wish that every person, every being may be safe and well in body and in spirit. May every person be well, and may we treat every person with respect and kindness and love. On this day, when we consider the connections between our bodies and our spirits, we lift up our hope and aspiration that all people will live in freedom to give and guard their bodies as seems best to them, and to exercise their own powers of moral discernment around their fertility and creative potential. May we remember that it is especially challenging for those who are living in poverty to exercise these rights, and may our society support them in every way possible. We say a special prayer for all those who have experienced violence or abuse or any other form of damage to their being, which is so precious. May they know safety and healing. For all of us, may our physical being be a source of delight and well-being as we live in this world. May every being be safe and well in body and in spirit. May every person be well, and may we be vessels of compassion for everyone we meet. Amen. Blessed be. If you are someone who likes to come close when you are listening to a story, I invite you to come down here. I'm over to the side here so we can give the harps a touch-free zone. I have a book today called We Listen to Our Bodies. It's by Lydia Bowers and illustrated by Isabel Munoz. And I was looking at the back and it says interest level ages 3 to 5, but I am sure that it's more universal than that. At least I hope so. Mom gave Deja a quick hug and nudged her into the classroom. Rushed mornings like this made Deja's arms feel shivery. Her eyes felt like crying. She wanted to hug Mom again, but Mom was already walking away. Miss H called out, "The weather is beautiful. Let's head to the playground, everyone." Deja's feet felt antsy. She loved playing outside. On the playground, Deja shouted to her friend, "Try to catch me, Jackson." She took off. She was a fast runner, but so was Jackson. He chased her under the climber and around the sandbox. They laughed and dodged their friends as they ran. Jackson ran closer. Deja's heart pounded harder. She still laughed, but her face felt hot. Her eyes felt wet. Her arms felt shivery again. As Jackson reached out to tag her, Deja whirled around and shoved him away. He fell hard on the ground, and so did Deja. She burst into tears. Then Jackson did too. Mr. B rolled over in his wheelchair. "Oh, it looks like you two had a collision." He offered each child a hand as they stood up. Deja felt her whole body shaking. She knew she shouldn't push. She had done it without thinking. She worried that Mr. B was angry with her. Instead, he held her hand and asked, "Deja, how is your body feeling right now? It looks like a lot of feelings are happening." Deja took a big hiccupy breath and she gasped, "I'm shaky and cry-y." Mr. B nodded. He said, "Even though you were laughing, your face looked scared." "I'm not scared of tag," Deja said. "That's true," agreed Mr. B. "I know you like to play tag with your friends, but we have to check in with our bodies to see what they are telling us." "My body can't talk," Deja replied. "Well, no, our bodies don't talk like you and I are talking. They talk in different ways. When you feel shaky or cry-y, your body might be saying, 'Deja, something's wrong.'" Deja giggled at Mr. B's silly voice. "But listening to our bodies takes practice." Back inside, Mr. B gathered the children for circle time. He asked them each to find one thing in the classroom they really liked and bring it to the group. Deja brought a smooth river stone from the science table. It felt cool and slippery in her hand. Mr. B said, "Deja, what did you find?" Deja opened her hand to reveal the stone. Mr. B smiled. "How does your body feel when you hold that?" Deja thought for a moment. "My body feels like..." And she gave a big sigh. She dropped her arms to her sides and smiled. "Your body looks calm and relaxed," Mr. B said, and Deja nodded. "Harrison, what about you?" Harrison held up some high-heeled, glittery purple dress-up shoes. "I love these shoes. They make sparkles on the walls." He slipped them on his feet, and they go tap, tap, tap like this. He walked across the room. Mr. B smiled. "How does your body feel when you wear them?" Harrison thought for a moment and said, "My feet feel happy, like jumping." Deja declared, "I don't like those shoes. My eyes say the sparkles are pretty, but my feet say, no way, I don't want to fall." Mr. B nodded. "Our bodies send us messages. Your bodies are sending different messages about the shoes, and that's okay. Harrison's body tells him he likes to wear the shoes. Deja's body tells her she's worried about falling." Jackson called out, "When I hear a dog barking, I feel worried." "Oh yeah?" said Mr. B. "How do you know you're feeling worried?" "My head goes like this." Jackson put his hands on his cheeks and shook his head back and forth. "I feel worried in my face," said Harrison. He scrunched his face into little crinkles. "What about you, Deja?" asked Mr. B. "How does your body feel worried?" Deja remembered how she felt playing tag. "I feel shaky all over, and my eyes are cry-y." When our bodies feel worried, it might mean we need something, or maybe there's danger nearby. It can be confusing. It's okay to ask a grown-up you trust for help. "How does your body tell you it's safe and happy?" asked Mr. B. Jackson said, "My baby sister kicks her feet and makes drool bubbles. My dad say it's because she's happy to see me." Deja scrunched up her nose. "My happy does not feel like drool bubbles." The children giggled and made bubbling noises. As the children left circle time to play, Mr. B called Deja over. He said, "I noticed your morning seemed a little rushed." Deja nodded. "Sometimes when we are in a hurry, we might not listen to our bodies." Deja felt her eyes get cryy again. "I'm listening now. My body says it feels sad. I miss my mom. I want to hug her." Mr. B nodded. He said, "I know teacher hugs aren't the same as mom hugs. What can we do to help you feel safe until you can get a mom hug?" "How about a teacher hug and we read some books?" said Deja. Mr. B replied, "Good idea. I know that would make me feel happy." And Deja nodded. "But no drool bubbles." Mr. B smiled. "Deal." The end. Thanks for listening. As I introduce the offering, please note that directions for giving are in the order of service and on the screen. Each week, Unity Temple splits the collection evenly. One half supports the programs and mission of our congregation. And this week, the other half goes to Pink Haven Coalition. Pink Haven is a coalition of trans organizers, mutual aid groups, progressive faith organizations, including the UUA and the UU Service Committee, queer associations, and individual justice lovers. In response to the increasingly hostile legislative environment in the United States, Pink Haven Coalition creates networks of safety and direct support for trans beloveds and their families who need to relocate, access health care across state lines, or stay as safe as possible where they are. Pink Haven knows that liberation is a group project and that no one is free until everyone is free. They and we proclaim that trans lives are sacred. Pink Haven's work centers trans lives and experiences, particularly the lives and experiences of BIPOC, trans, and gender-expansive people. There's more information at pinkhaven.org. May we be transformed by our giving, and may the world be transformed by our gifts. Our reading today is part of the poem For the Days I Stop Wanting a Body by Andrea Gibson. Imagine when a human dies, the soul misses the body, actually grieves the loss of its hands and all they could hold, misses the throat closing shy, reading out loud on the first day of school. Imagine the soul misses the stubbed toe, the loose tooth, the funny bone. The soul still asks, why does the funny bone do that? It's just weird. Imagine the soul misses hunger, emptiness, rage, the fist that was never taught to curl, curls, the teeth that were never taught to clench, clench, the body that was never taught to make love, makes love, like a hungry ghost digging its way out of the grave. The soul misses the unforever of old age, the skin that no longer fits. The soul misses every single day the body was sick, the now it forced, the here it built from the fever. Fever is how the body prays, how it burns and begs for another average day. The soul misses the legs creaking up the stairs, misses the fear that climbed up the vocal cords to curse the wheelchair. The soul misses what the body could not let go. What else could hold on that tightly to everything? What else could hear the chain of a swing set and fall to its knees? What else could touch a screen door and taste lemonade? What else could come back from a war and not come back, but still try to live, still try to lullaby? When a human dies, the soul moves through the universe trying to describe how a body trembles when it's lost, softens when it's safe, how a wound would heal given nothing but time. Do you understand? Nothing in space can imagine it. No comet, no nebula, no ray of light can fathom the landscape of awe, the heat of shame, the fingertips pulling the first gray hair and throwing it away. I can't imagine it, the stars say. Tell us again about goosebumps. Tell us again about pain. I had a different book picked out for our Story for All Ages this week. I changed my mind, though, because I thought it might be too radical. The book is called Bodies Are Cool. It's by Tyler Fetter, and it is a book filled with drawings of all kinds of bodies. Each page turn leads you to a new short verse, like this one. Round bodies, muscled bodies, curvy curves, and straight bodies, jiggly wiggly fat bodies, bodies are cool. And this one, crooked faces, bumped nose faces, flat nose, fully lipped, gap-toothed faces, stuck out ears, and thin lip faces, bodies are cool. You get the gist. There's a core message here that is essentially, no matter what your body is like, your body is cool. I say this is a radical message. I say this to you, mostly grown-up people listening to my words. I say this is a radical message because when was the last time you thought to yourself, my body is cool? Or my body is amazing? Or even, my body is enough. In our Family OWL, Our Whole Lives class, we hold annually for kindergartners, first graders, and their grown-ups. We do a lot of celebrating of bodies. We talk about all the body parts and some of what they do. We think of all the amazing things our bodies can do. We celebrate all the ways we are physically and expressively, with the main goal of helping each of them know all the way deep down in their bones that they are full of inherent worth and dignity, that they are important and special, that their bodies are amazing. When we are kicking off these OWL programs, these values-based sexuality education programs for our young people, we remind the grown-ups that our kids are going to learn about sex and sexuality no matter what. But our OWL programs help give them positive, information-based knowledge and help equip the grown-ups to be partners in that messaging. And herein lies the crux of the matter. We can lay the groundwork and do all the positive reinforcement we can. And still, there is no getting around it. There's a pretty much constant stream of messaging in the world around us, at least here in the United States, that our bodies are not enough, that they need to be fixed or altered or made better in some way, no matter what. And still, I say, bodies are cool. I mean, did you watch the Olympics? Can you believe that bodies can do some of that? Wait, I mean, any of that stuff? I must confess that I am an indiscriminate Olympics watcher. I will sit down, turn on the Olympics coverage, and 2 minutes later I'm completely sucked into bodies doing things so amazing that I cannot even differentiate between the levels of amazing. But I understand beauty and grace and courage and skill when I see it. Many of these moments will fade into my memory, but I don't think I will ever forget the gold medal winning ice skating of Elisa Leo. Here's the thing about Elisa Leo. At 13, she was the youngest ever U.S. women's national champion. She won again and again. And then at 16, after the 2022 Olympics, she quit skating. She was burned out and exhausted. A few years later, after a break, she decided to return to skating. This time, though, it would be different. She would be in charge. She said, I get to pick my own program music. I get to help the creative process of the program. If I feel like I'm skating too much, I'll back down. If I feel like I'm not skating enough, I'll ramp it up. No one is going to starve me or tell me what I can and can't eat. And so for her, the 2026 Winter Olympics felt completely different, and you could see it in her skating. Jessica Valenti described her experience watching in this way. I don't really follow figure skating or the Olympics. You can imagine my shock when I found myself sobbing while watching young skater Elisa Leo perform her gold medal winning free skate. Flying across the ice with a huge smile on her face, Leo took my breath away, literally. At one point during the program, I gasped aloud. At first, I didn't understand why I was having such an emotional reaction. It's always inspiring to see someone who's truly excellent at what they do, but this went beyond witnessing greatness. It actually took revisiting the program a few more times before it dawned on me. I was watching a young woman be free. From Leo's fluidity and obvious joy on the ice to her punky striped hair and the mouth piercing that peeked through whenever she smiled, which was often, she was beautifully, unabashedly herself. I cried because every spin, jump, and slide was evidence of what is possible when you let women achieve greatness on their own terms. Of course, there were plenty of people who told Elisa that there was no way she could come back after a break, that she couldn't be successful if she skated in this way. And still, she proved them wrong. She won a gold medal, but even so, that wasn't her goal. Her goal was to listen to her own body, her own wisdom, and let that be her guide. It wasn't about the medals. This whole story reminds me of Howard Thurman's advice. Don't ask what the world needs. Ask what makes you come alive and go and do it, because what the world needs is people who have come alive. Bodies that have come alive like that are cool. Here's the thing about the radical bodies are cool message. If you truly believe bodies are cool, it follows then that not only is your body cool, all bodies are cool. All bodies are amazing. All bodies are worthy of all the good things, which is maybe even a more radical message. Because while we could live in a world where the systems that deal with bodies have wellness and affirmation and health as their core values, much of what we seem to live in are systems with power and control and greed at their center. 6 or so years ago, I started experiencing acute abdominal pain. It persisted and persisted until finally I knew I needed to seek medical care. I had someone to drive me to the emergency department, only a 10-minute drive away. I walked in, showed my insurance card, was interviewed, and not long after, I was taken back where I was given a bed in the emergency department. They listened to my experience and symptoms. They hooked me up to an IV. They took me for a CAT scan to look at my internal organs. It was determined that I need an emergency appendectomy. It was a Friday afternoon going into evening, but there was a doctor on site who could do the operation. Before the surgery, he came down to talk to me, and he said these words that I will never forget. "Emily, we know what's wrong, and we know how to fix it." And then they fixed it. Imagine a healthcare system in which this was a normal, expected experience for all, no matter your gender identity or healthcare coverage or financial situation or race or ethnicity or citizen status. Imagine a system that fully centered the well-being of our cool bodies. So much of what shapes our reality is choices about how we use or hoard or share resources. I recently read the book, Everything is Tuberculosis, The History and Persistence of Our Deadly Infection by John Green. It's totally fascinating. I know maybe it doesn't sound like it, but it was really fascinating. He wonders in the introduction, "It is a strange fact of human history that we tend to focus so little on disease. In my college survey course about the history of humans, I learned of wars and empires and trade routes, but I heard precious little of microbes, even though illness is a defining feature of human life." It is strange. Bodies are so central to how we experience the world, and somehow we downplay their importance. And of course, we prioritize some bodies over others. The central theme of Green's book is this: We know how to live in a world without tuberculosis, but we choose not to live in that world. Kind of like how we could be living in a world with bodily autonomy for everyone, but we choose not to live in that world, because with the rise of authoritarianism, the rise of fascism, comes an increased policing of bodies and bodily autonomy. Think of, just to name a few things, the attack on life-saving, gender-affirming care, laws around bathroom use, criminalizing maternal health care, the discounting of those with disabilities, cutting of food benefits, skyrocketing of healthcare costs, the disregard for scientific knowledge, particularly as it pertains to healthcare. All attacks on, in some respects, our bodies. Mix in the accompanying racism, homophobia, transphobia, xenophobia, and misogyny, and you've got infinitely more layers of vulnerability and risk. And none of this, it must be said, is about anything other than power and control. The theme for March is paying attention, and since I thought to myself that I would preach about bodies, I can't stop thinking about how central our bodies are to so much that is happening right now. I was devastated to read this week that civil rights leader Dolores Huerta, at age 96, finally felt able to share her story of sexual abuse and violence at the hands of Cesar Chavez. She said, "I've never identified myself as a victim, but I now understand that I am a survivor of violence, of sexual abuse, of domineering men who saw me and other women as property or things to control." For me, and I'm sure for others, this feels particularly devastating given the perpetrator also hailed as a hero and civil rights leader. As Huerta put it, Caesar's actions do not reflect the values of our community and our movement. Huerta felt compelled to speak at this time because the New York Times, after a years-long investigation, found that there were others who had experienced sexual misconduct by Chavez. She carried this as a secret for decades because of her commitment to the work. But also, it must be said, it was likely also a real question for her. Who would believe her? Along with the policing and attacks on bodily autonomy is the victim blaming, gaslighting, and denial. Huerta's is one story. The Epstein files, those words represent so much more horror along these very same lines, are another. Those voices within those files are clamoring to be heard so that the perpetrators may be held accountable for their actions. We must listen to the survivors' experiences and believe them. The book that I did choose for the story for all ages is called We Listen to Our Bodies, which I guess is also kind of a radical message. There's so much noise about bodies around us and about us that sometimes we forget that it's our job to listen to ourselves. We are the foremost authorities on our own bodies and what they can tell us about our own emotions and about what does and does not feel good. No one else, each one of us. The more we learn to trust and celebrate that, the better we are, and also the better the world can be. There is a television show that is getting a lot of buzz lately called Heated Rivalry. It's a gay Canadian hockey romance. Probably an unlikely successful combination if there ever was one. I've only watched it once in its entirety, but I'm not going to lie, I am one of many fans who is completely obsessed. Every single person in this show is stunningly beautiful. It's quite sexually explicit, and the consent and desire and celebration of bodies is almost free of any bad power dynamics and misogyny. The masculinity is non-toxic, and the storyline is incredibly romantic. It's like all the good things wrapped up in one. The timing of this show feels perfect, like a reminder of how wonderful bodies and all that goes with them can be. A wonderful reminder that bodies are cool. Because bodies are cool. Everyone's bodies. Dark skin, olive skin, every shade of brown skin, pinky pale, or peach skin, bodies are cool. This body, that body, his and her and their body, however you define your body, bodies are cool. Bodies are amazing and wonderful and can be the locus of so much joy and liberation. And right now, especially, they are a battleground. They are pawns in the game for power and control. And so it is up to each of us to practice radical resistance in remembering that our bodies are cool, that we must listen to our bodies and trust what they are telling us, and that everyone around us is called to do the same. This is both a tool for our own joyful survival and a means for changing the world. Imagine what it would mean to center the bodily autonomy and wellness of each and every person. May we feel it deep down in our bones, a love and worth that knows no bounds. May we extend that love and celebration to one another, and may it help move the world towards more liberation. And so, may it always be. I invite you to rise, embody your spirit, and join in singing 128, For All That Is Our Life. Our closing words are from Eric Williams. Blessed is the path on which you travel. Blessed is the body that carries you upon it. Blessed is your heart that has heard the call. Blessed is your mind that discerns the way. Blessed is the gift that you will receive by going. Truly blessed is the gift you will become on the journey. May you go forth in peace. Please join with me in the words of our chalice extinguishing. Carry the flame of peace and love until we meet again.